Welcome, Sagittarius, to November 2022, where you're going to have a really big, beautiful love up on your physical body, your health, and your sense of well-being. And on top of that, you get the blessings of the Lord of your sign, Jupiter, moving back into his home territory, bringing you super great opportunities with things to do with your private life, how you live in your domestic environment, but property, real estate, and where you live, getting a super dose of luck and growth, expansion, and Santa Claus, Jupiter working on your behalf. So we're going to go ahead and talk about all that as we go into the month of November. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Lori Lothian. I'm a Hellenistic whole sign astrologer using ancient tools and techniques from Babylon and, Hellenistic and even a little dabble of the Indian tradition, the Vedic astrology. I am very predictive. I'd like to look at astrology as telling you the weather ahead, the pitfalls, the terrain to avoid, where to go, and where to go. That's good. So I'm not psychological. I'm not spiritual. You're not going to find a lot of talk about ascension and stuff like that here. But I'm going to talk about what you might need to know in order to experience the best, to time your best life. That's my tagline for my course. So stay tuned for that. And don't forget, hit the like and subscribe button, because that helps my channel grow. And also, you can jump into a lot of things I'm doing, teaching my divine timing masterclass, only good for intermediate level astrologers, that starts next February probably, but there's a wait list right now. Get on that wait list to get early bird discounts. Information below. Sign up for my Cosmic Moonshine newsletter. Why? Because you're going to get a 30% a discount code for a reading off with me. It's 30% right now, but in January I'm reducing it to 20. I'm seeing less clients in 23 because I've seen so many in the last 4 years. I need to reduce my client load. And lastly, I'm in my sister Nancy's house, visiting in Northern Ontario, Canada. I usually live in Vancouver on the Pacific coast. This is East Coast. And if you're interested in a healing with her, she literally, I can't go into enough how she's healed me of a lot of stuff at a distance and in person. She's an incredibly powerful healer using tools of Reiki and more. Her website is healingwithnancylyn.com. And there's a special in November for the Thanksgiving season called Gratitude 20% off any healing with her. All of her info in the description box below. I mean, she's honestly at a distance. It's like hallelujah moments. I've been like totally struggling with a health challenge that I couldn't get rid of. And she did it like in a distance healing, and it was a miracle. All right, let's get going. Well, acute crisis, but she was good for that. Okay, let's get going. Enough about me and more about you. All right, Sagittarius, fiery people in the world. I started off by talking, I'm not going in chronological order, all right, through November. I'm talking about the things that matter the most to you. And I think we're going to start with Jupiter, because he is the Lord of your sign. He rules Pisces in the ancient tradition, not Neptune, as well as Sagittarius. So he's your Lagna Lord, Lord of the Ascendant. This can work for your sun and moon as well. It's just a very important planet. And your rising sign is always the best descriptor of your future reality. It's the most accurate circumstantially. You can listen for sun, maybe about purpose, maybe about career, and you can listen for moon. Ostensibly, moon will be about maybe your emotional set points on things that are happening during the month. So one of the things I want to say is that, and check my description box, there's a freebie on how to cast your chart in whole sign houses and how to find your ascendant. All right. So what I want to say is this, Jupiter coming into Pisces is a return story, and it's a return and last, hurrah of a positive narrative that he started to do as he first moved into Pisces in 2021. Memory serves me, it might have been, brain is offline, maybe March through to March through to July of 2021, there was this intro vibe where he got to the second degree of Pisces and then retrograded. So it was a teaser, right? A little teaser. And unless you are Sag rising in the first 5 degrees of Sag, or sun and moon in the first 5 degrees, you may not have experienced much from it. But then later on, he went all the way through the entirety of the Pisces terrain at the end of December 2020. I think it was December 28th, but at the end of December 2021 to May 10th, 2022, he kind of raced through the entire full speed ahead, no retrogradation, if I remember, but he raced through the sign of Pisces. So go back to what good things were happening in your real estate life, your home life, things you're doing in your home and from your home, your private life, people you're living with having opportunities, things kind of loving and up and glowing up in the home life. So that was basically what was happening back in the spring, right? And the first 5 months and 10 days of 22. Now he's back for his last hurrah. And in your life, this is going to be important because you are ruled by him. As he does his last hurrah, he squares your ascendant sun or moon, which is also with Jupiter squares are really still about opportunity and growth. And he warms up and heats up Santa Claus-like vibes in your private life and your home life. And he only makes it to 28 degrees. So therefore, if you're Pisces, if you're Sagittarius ascendant sun and moon is in the last 5 degrees, you're getting a concentrated energy of Jupiter moving very slowly because he's retrograding. And when he's retrograde, he's big in the sky, close to Earth. He's powerful. And is he coming into that like 28 degrees and stationing at 28 degrees of Pisces on November 23rd to go direct, you're going to find that the whole month of November, if you have planets near 28 Pisces, but talking about sun, moon, and rising, there's a concentrated luck growth opportunity vibe. Certainly, you Sagittarius will get more juice after the 23rd of November when he goes direct, but it's still all juicy luck. So things like renting a new place, buying a place, finding a new home, selling a home, expanding your home, expanding the size of your home, expanding the joy you experience in your home, and expanding even people who live in your home. It might become, bigger. People are moving in, things are enlarging in your home life. And you're getting a lot of love from Jupiter towards your health and your body as he sends beams toward the ascendant or the sun and moon, sort of saying, and over there, can you radiate out a little bit more vitality and health? And he's helping you with that. So look for those opportunities around the things to do with your home life coming up, yes, in November. Second of all, and he's there until December 20th. It does continue into the 3rd week of December. Second of all, there's a glorious, lucky, beautiful, gorgeous maze balls. Yeah. New moon in Sagittarius. This is your moon. This is your moon. This is so good for you. This is happening around the 23rd on the 23rd, when Jupiter stations direct. Jupiter, Lord of the lunation, the new moon in Sag, which will be in the early degrees. My memory serves me 0-ish degree of Sagittarius. I should have written that down because my brain, I have COVID brain, but get the idea. If you have a sun, moon, or rising in the first 10 degrees of Sag, you feel it the most. This new moon is going to plant seeds for some luscious upgrade in your life that will fulfill itself by the 6-month mark when we have a full moon in Sag next year. Now, the way it can work is certainly you are expanding and becoming renewed and brand new. And it can be about your body and your health, vitality, your own sense of interior joy and how you want to express your life. And this new moon on the 23rd, lorded over by a Jupiter in his home sign, very powerful moon, is also conjunct Venus, the goddess of love, art, beauty, friendliness, kindness, fairness, money, and Mercury and Sag. They're both conjunct the new moons. This is why it's one of the better new moons. I'll have a whole video about this silver lining after a gnarly eclipse season. So for the world, it can be very good. The United States has a Sagittarius rising sign, so silver linings coming all through the sky collectively by then. But I would say to you, certainly in the 2 weeks that follow, so go November 23rd, add 14 days, until the next lunation cycle, where you are feeling really sweet, really good about things. I'm looking because I didn't sleep well last night. Because of the eclipse energy. So the last 2 nights have been really gnarly. And I put a poll on my YouTube channel, and like 75% of the people experiencing lack of sleep, tossing and turning. Just a sidebar. So Sagittarius, if you need any health procedures that are going to increase your vitality while that moon is in effect, the 2 weeks after, not on a full moon for surgery, but get the gist that Lord Jupiter, lunation Lord, is going to support that. Venus conjunct the new moon can support that. Now, finally, Mercury in that new moon is out of dignity. So he's in Sag, where he doesn't look at the fine print, but he's very motivated and inspirational, kind of like a meme maker and a speechwriter. If you, by any chance, need to dazzle people with charm, persuasion, selling something, captivating people, being seductive, even, this Venus infused new moon gives you those superpowers. And Mercury in Sag makes you speak eloquently and inspirationally, like a motivational speaker or even writer. And yet, be careful that you don't promise more than you can give, or they don't speak things that you're going in the hindsight. It's kind of like those books, Be Here Now, or but how, so make sure you follow through with some details on things that you're offering the world that you could be persuasive about. You're highly charismatic and persuasive in the 2 weeks that follow the new moon. Okay, now we're going to talk about other sky stories that you need to really be aware of. Some of them are not always that easy. We're going to talk about the Venus Mercury hand holding transits here. Venus and Mercury are traveling close together in the sky in Scorpio. And the Scorpio part of the sky is where Venus is in debility. It's just where she's hanging out during the 2 eclipses of October 25th. Check my eclipse videos. And then coming up, the other eclipse video, the other eclipse coming up on November 8th. Yeah, midterms in the United States. And she's not doing great there. And Mercury's with her. He's fine, but he tells secrets. A lot of collective secrets are spilling, a lot of, things that were hidden from view. I want to talk about that because Venus will be in that Scorpio part of your sky along with Mercury until the middle of the month. And what they do when they're in Scorpio for your whole sign house system is get you to pay attention to your inner life, to your dreams at night, to your meditations, to maybe your own addictions and self-undoing. Venus, the pleasure-seeking goddess, going through your 12th house. Out of indebility, have you been overdoing it with the wine, with the weed, with whatever else you consume to escape the Netflix binging? This is your turn to look squarely at that. And Mercury, Venus traveling through Scorpio, basically October 23rd for Venus, and then October 29th for Mercury. They finish up on the 16th and 17th of the month. But in that time, there's a lot of things going on. The 12th house is hidden enemies and backroom negotiations and secret deals. And you could very well be cobbling together something to do with backroom negotiations and deals to do with things to do with foreign lands, travel, visas, or your career. Those are possibilities, but it's also that very spiritual moksha, liberation, psychological and karmic house where all of this is traveling. And the sun is there with Mercury and Venus. So you have a stellium of South Node, Sun, Mercury, Venus in those first 2 weeks of November. And also, this is the eclipse zone for you, where the South Node is pulling the plug like water down the drain on 12th house things. Certainly for a lot of Sagittarius, it's time to kick a bad habit, an addiction, or a self-defeating, sabotaging life pattern, because the eclipses are strengthening your ability to do that. And then good news, Venus, as I said, Mercury, handhold, jump the fence into the sign of you. That's why that new moon is so glorious. It makes you persuasive, charismatic, and communicative. And that turning point is the 16th, 17th of the month as both planets kind of follow each other into your first house. And you get the superpowers of Venus, a new moon, and Mercury supporting you during that transit. And it really does allow you to be very popular if being popular during that window of time is something you need or want. And basically Venus and Mercury will be there all through the month, and Venus doesn't leave until your first house. You're charismatic and charming as all F until December 9th, and Mercury supports that process till December 6th. So this is where you can, sell snow to the Eskimos, so to speak, so use that power wisely. Mars is retrograding in for a dog's age, right? And it started August 20th and it ends in March. That's a lot of months: August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. Well, it's 8 months, but it's kind of 7 months by days. And he's retrograding in the month of November. He started retrograding October 30th, doesn't finish till January 12th. So we've got 2 months of his going backwards, right? In Gemini and in your sky, that's your relationship house. This is your business partners, your audience, client, marketplace, if that's relevant to your life. And it is your significant marriage partner type person. Whether you're legally married or not, it doesn't really matter. It's like you committed and you're together and this is a thing. Well, there's backtracking here. And, I'm not gonna make this a nice story when it looks difficult. Either your partner from August 20th to the 30th to the 23rd of March is going through a real big struggle, or they're very combative, conflictual, and gnarly in the relationship toward you, especially Mars and Gemini. Sharp words, harsh tone, directed across the way at you. If you've been feeling beleaguered by your significant other, I wouldn't be surprised. Now, Mars going through here on a normal 6-week transit in a beleaguered and difficult, strained relationship can snip, cut, and sever. Somebody leaves, somebody quits, somebody gives up, right? So when the retrograde is happening, there may be the possibility, though, of trying to make it work. So if there's a challenge in a significant love relationship, if that is true, or a business partner, then maybe October 30th, when he's going slowly backwards and very close to Earth and quite visible in our sky, as he goes backward, maybe October 30th to January 12th, you're giving it the good old heave ho. You're going to try to work it out. You're going to try to go back over old ground of conflicts you've had before, especially after August 20th, and find a solution. But when he goes direct after January 12th through to March 31st, if you cannot negotiate new terms, and Gemini is a sign of agreements and negotiations, Mars is a sign of battling, winning, or championing something, then it may not last. But I'm giving you the sense that maybe you have a window to work it out. And November is a part of that. And so is December. You know, Mars in the seventh house can, like, it's a setting place. And like in a chart, when you're looking at that, it can mean the partner's setting. So that can mean they're leaving or going away or something like that, you know? So I just have to tell you what I see, business or love partners. If you really want to make it work, your chance is probably going to be, I guess, hopefully October 30th through to January 12th. Okay. And then you'll know the lay of the land, January to March. Okay. Just thought. Now, when it comes to legal agreements, contracts, signing leases, negotiations, things that are like documents of vows and oaths and agreements, signing legal forms, this is also your seventh house. If Mars is retrograding, you're going back over old documentation. Don't sign a legal agreement of any kind. Even if I could avoid it, I would, a lease, unless you started that process beforehand, like after August 20th, right? Retrograde means you might have to go back and fix it, or there's some problem and it won't be the way it should be. Like you'll sign on the dotted line and you realize there was an error. And then later on, January 12th to, you know, January 12th to March 23rd or so, you'll have to redo it. So agreements are kind of unreliable here until after January 12th. Be careful that your partner also isn't accident prone during this window of time, and tell them to be very careful around accidents, okay, and injuries. Now, Jupiter retrograding into your second, I covered at the beginning of the video. I would want to add to that, Neptune has been in your fourth house of your home life since 2011, end of the year, leaves in 2025, 26. The vibe here is some foggy confusion around your home life, where you're supposed to live, where your true nest is. You've been like, where am I supposed to live? And where's my true home? And are you my true home? But Jupiter coming back, you know, he's not going to conjunct Neptune. He was conjunct Neptune in April, okay, of 22. That could have given you a clear light signal about where you really want to be. Where do you want to live? And now this is a follow-up, you know, to take action and move in the direction of your vision, dream, or fantasy about where you really want to live in the world. Okay. So Neptune down there could actually be bringing you to a seaside home, a water home, a dream home, and things like that. You know, and sometimes things are literal, like this is the house of the mother. And I know a Sag who has had his mother go through a mental health challenge, Neptune, over the last few years, and a decline of cognition. That would be Neptune in the house of the mother. Sometimes it's very literal. Saturn is moving direct October 23rd and will be therefore direct all of the month of November and all the way through till next March, when he breaks free of Pisces. So what's so sweet about this movement of a direct motion, Saturn, Lord of time, karma, responsibility, and duty? What's great about it in your sky is it's really re-enlivening your third house, where he's been there, by the way, in your third house of trips and travel and siblings and skills-based learning and online world and the busy things you do every day, including commuting. So he's been there, kind of heavy duty energy since, well, a little bit in 2020, sort of, you know, in the middle of 2020. I can't remember the dates, May, June, July or something, but April, May, June. But he's really been there full time since December of 2020. And this for you could be heavy energy with a sibling, challenges and responsibility and duty with childhood friends that feel heavy, or aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces. This can also mean that travel was restricted in all your journeys and adventures that you wish to go on. Is a travel house or kiboshed? Well, yeah, we had a pandemic, and that was true for many, many of us. So now things are moving forward to around travel. Yay, you. And you know, next year, Venus is going to spend 4.5 months in your ninth house of foreign lands and shores. So for some of you, it could be a long extended stay in a foreign country next year, like kind of June to October, or even moving. Very exciting energy for a lot of Sages. I know one Sag, I'm sure, is going to go El Caminoing during the summer next year. So this is some momentum. And if anything has been really difficult with a sibling and the communication's been problematic, or they've been having a struggle, that could move things forward in that part of your sky as well. Now, at the end of the month, I'm going to jump ahead. And let's say like the 24th to the month's end, that direct motion Saturn will engage with that Mars in your marriage house. This could be a positive breakthrough with that business partner, marriage partner, okay, in some way, because this trine energy between Saturn and the seventh house, Mars traveling through there could mean there's some kind of renewal of commitment, because Saturn is about that duty and responsibility to the relationship coming maybe from your partner, business or love, and trying to go the distance, right? Saturn marathon, go the distance, make it work, build a foundation. All right, so look for that sweet spot. It's also kind of a nice sweet spot for the legal agreements maybe working out. That could be visas in your chart, travel agreements, arrangements. A lease is not the best option here. Mars is an aversion to the house of leases, and Saturn is squaring it. If you can avoid like signing tenancy or lease documents, I would, until Mars is direct at the end of in January 12th onward. But there is maybe an up level lift at the end of this month, right? In your primary business or love relationship, thanks to that trine between Mars and Saturn. And it certainly allows you, if you have an audience or marketplace, to get something into that marketplace, like a product, like a teaching, like a sale of something, to the audience in a successful way, likely hitting a target audience you've reached before because of the retrograde Mars. Okay, moving forward to the next thing. I'm going to go into some transits now, some micronutia of the sky for you. You'll have a Venus opposite Uranus energy going on just before the eclipse. Now I'm going to do a whole eclipse video about that eclipse on November 8th. I'm not really covering it in any depth during this video because it's so rich and so intense that I don't know I can cover everything for this eclipse without making this video an hour long. But just before the eclipse of November 8th, which is happening at 16 Taurus, right, which is your house of work routines and health routines, and it's a full moon, can be very revealing of any health challenges you need to address in your life, but also very revealing of anyone you're dating. It's a dating house, or any big reveals around debt you hold and how to cope with or change your debt structures. And that's kind of some of it, or even big reveals around coworker and job stuff. Now, that said, just before the eclipse, roughly the 5th to the 7th of November, Venus and Scorpio will be opposite Uranus in your 6th house of health and work and stuff like that. Pets, not going to lie here, sudden big full moon, shock and awe eclipse because it's conjunct Uranus in the house of pets can be a changing of some pet, like a loss of a pet, a death of a pet in the 6 months that follow the eclipse. But with Venus in the opposition from the 12th house, it could be a female coming up with some kind of news. Mercury's with Venus that's kind of blindsides you around things to do with a pet or with your health. Or the other option, this is the house of tenancies and legal agreements around that too, like leases and stuff like that. So maybe your landlord has got some shock and awe, or some negotiation has to happen, full moon, around property rentals, leases, whether you're the tenant or the landlord, that kind of surprised you, because this is a Uranus infused full moon total eclipse. It will be visible in a lot of parts in the world, but one of them in North America is the northwest coast of Canada and US. If you live there, even more intensely, all of this is true. All right, then Venus will trine Neptune, while she also sextiles Pluto from about the 8th of November to the 15th, with precision on the 10th and 13th for Neptune Pluto. What that can do here is interesting. Certainly it's a bump up in your finances, and that's because when Venus, even in the 12th house in debility, sextiles Pluto in the house of your money, this could be a financial bonus point on the game board of life. So this could be an earnings, a bonus, some money showing up that was hidden from your view that you can suddenly see, some unexpected financial opportunity through a woman, some backroom deals and negotiations that benefit you financially. And then the part where she's talking to the Neptune story, well, that's your home and land and real estate property that you want to inhabit. So this looks like a little bit of a yay you moment around some lucky breaks through the 16th to the 20th, my dates from the 8th to the 15th. Now, Venus is in the house of foreign shores, and some of you may acquire a chance to purchase, buy, lease, or something property involving foreign shores and foreign lands. And so the window for that as a Sag, again, is a broader window of kind of like the 8th to the 15th of the month. Then You also come into some beautiful sky stories with Venus trining Jupiter, which of course you can only do when he's in his home sign of Pisces, like this every 12 years. And so you'll lose this power after this for quite a long time. So Venus and Scorpio, house of hidden negotiations, foreign lands and addictions and stuff like that, trining Jupiter, good god of opportunity in your real estate house home area. We're back to the same story. What's percolating here? Some real estate opportunity that's pretty exact on the 14th and 15th of the month. Well, at the same time, on the 14th and 15th, the sun in your 12th house of foreign lands and backroom deals and negotiations trines that Neptune. Are you acquiring a dreamy, fantastical dream home property move expansion? Some of you definitely are. And that is really lovely on the 14th, 15th of the month, give or take a few days on either side. Mars squares Neptune, 16th to 22nd of the month. Think of the defogger in your car when you're trying to drive and it's all fogged up. The windshield is foggy. You put the defogger on the dashboard. That's what Mars can do, especially in crisp air energy. Gemini, as he is squaring the god of illusion and delusion in your 4th house of real estate and home from your 7th house of marriage and business partners. Well, we're back to that tension with that one of those people in your life, your marriage partner, your business partner, really being activated, and Neptune helping you see through some illusion, fog, or confusion around things to do with living with that person or negotiating with that person. So this may be a little bit of a dispelling of some fantastical rose-colored glasses from the 16th to the 22nd with regards to business and love partners. Then you have Venus conjunct Mercury on the 19th to the 23rd. Of course, that's the buildup for the new moon. This is lovely energy in your 1st house. Again, it makes you more consciously persuasive, charismatic, ability to speak eloquently, to say what you need, to convince others. It's great opportunities for asking for a raise, convincing people in power to favor you, and even having more eloquent and peace-based, nonviolent communication with your significant business or love partner who is having gnarly energies right now. And I think I covered it because I talked about the end of the month with the Mars trine Saturn. Well, it's a pretty good month. I think you Sagittarius and Pisces are going to get a lot of juice because of Jupiter in the sign, Jupiter juice in the sign of his home kingdom. So as your ruler is in good stead, so are you. So enjoy the time that you have in the month of November. Check out the eclipse video because I will say there is kind of like eclipse-ish energy in the house of loans and not loans, debt, tenancy, pets, and health and work routines that you might need to pay attention to, but watch the eclipse video. That's why it's important to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. And if you're listening to this, yeah, so that's all I have to say. Okay, ciao guys. I'll see you in the month of December. Take care and have a great November.